Have you ever asked yourself, what's my purpose? What am I here for? Or even, I'm not finding joy in my life. So how do I find that joy, or how do I find that purpose? What does that look like for me? If you've ever asked yourself these questions, then this episode is for you.
It's a beautiful chaos, this roller coaster ride. The ups, the downs are spinning all around inside. It's a beautiful chaos. Sometimes I love, sometimes I hate. Have to pause, renegotiate, but with gratitude I appreciate this beautiful chaos.
Welcome to Beautiful Chaos. It's just me today, and today's episode is about purpose and how we find it, what it means to us, and it's individual to each one of us. And I'll tell you why I started thinking about this and feeling the desire to speak it and share it. So you guys know I'm writing a book. If you don't know, I've got the full manuscript written, and I'm currently working with an editor to work through it and give you all the best version of it. And as I'm working through each one of those chapters in my life and how I viewed it at the time, and then reflecting for my current self now on what that actually meant for me without me even realizing, I realized my purpose in life has never changed. Now, let me clarify that, and let me tell you a little story the way that I do. So I have worn many hats in my life. I've worn the hat of a financial loan officer. I've worn a hat of a starving waitress. I worked in a fast food restaurant. I sold vacuum cleaners door to door. I had a lot of jobs, right? And I had a lot of loves in the after hours of work. And that was a lot of sports. Theater, always loved theater since the time I was kindergarten up. Well, actually before that, because I was the person that would say, shh, the commercial's on, everybody be quiet. So it's kind of comical that then after being a loan officer, I actually worked for Idaho 8 television station as an account executive, and I got to sell advertising as well as write scripts, create commercials, help direct, help in the editing process. And I learned a lot, and I found that was like my most favorite job. So due to life's ups and downs and changes, and family becomes your focus. So then you do whatever works around your family. And, once I met Kevin, I ended up living an hour away from the major city, Pocatello, around here. And therefore I had to find different work. And so I found an at-home job that I could work for a couple of years till James was about a year old. And then I started working for the farm. It's a little hard to think about driving an hour in the morning and an hour at night and spending 8 hours away from your home and your family and your kids when your heart is all about your kids. Okay. So I realized, reflecting back on my life and now being involved in community events, putting on big community events, Music in the Park, the Red, White, and Blue, a Red, White, and Boom 4th of July event, our Christmas festival, like doing all these community events. I was a substitute teacher. Anyways, and loving to spend time with my grandkids. I realized that the bigger picture was that I love people, and my purpose in life has always been to help people. I always thought Oh, and I was a health coach, right? So during those 8 years of health coaching, I think I felt like I'd lost my purpose because humans, we're, we're hard. We're hard on ourselves. Um, when we are in challenges, we behave differently. Our personalities kind of shift into stress mode, and sometimes that's not the prettiest side of us. And um, I think that I learned a lot through health coaching, but I started to question my purpose because, I mean, yes, I helped a lot of people, but then there was a lot of people that I couldn't help, right? You can't help those that can't or don't really want to help themselves. They think they do, but they don't want to make the real changes in life that it takes, right? Because it's too hard, or they perceive it as too hard, even when either way is hard. You're just picking which hard. And a lot of us tend to pick what we're more comfortable with, right? Because we've been in, hard A all of our lives. And so that's a comfort to us, even though it feels like a struggle, or it feels difficult, or it feels heavy. We know that, right? I always think, we really don't like change. And I've always been aware that I definitely do not like change. If plans get changed, I'm instantly a little bit stressed out and thinking, what is happening? It takes me a few minutes or sometimes a day, to calm myself and understand that things are going to happen the way that they're going to happen. You only have control over yourself and what you choose to do and how you choose to react in any given situation. So back to reflecting on, what is my purpose, and feeling like somewhere along the way I had lost my purpose, to coming to this epiphany at one point when I started the podcast of going, okay, this is my purpose. I'm meant to help people on a bigger level. I'm meant to not be tied one-to-one or one-on-one with a client. I'm meant to help everyone as a whole. And so that felt really good. All of a sudden I had a purpose. My life got lighter feeling. I found joy. I could work on an episode. I found out that I love editing the episode. Like, weird, right? I mean, I guess it's kind of like directing a play, but I really find joy in that. I get lost in time with that. So note to you, if you're wondering, how do you find your purpose? First, you ask yourself, what's my purpose? Just being open and understanding that you have the answer within you is huge. And I do believe, God blesses me with all my answers, but it's still within me to know. He's placed it in there. I just don't know what it's filed under. So I've got to search, and I've got to ask the questions, and I've got to be wondering, right? I've got to be open-minded and open to any answer that comes. So one thing is, if you get lost in something, like I can get lost in painting, right? Like watercolor painting. I can go 8 hours, forget to eat, forget what time it is, not realize it's been 8 hours, because I'm lost in that creative mind, and I'm not in ego. I'm not thinking about any judgment of or naming anything to do with this painting that I'm painting. I'm just painting to paint. When I come from that space and I'm not setting expectations upon myself of a judgmental situation, as far as, is someone going to think this is good? Am I going to think this is good? Like, you don't come from that space at all. When we come from that space, that's when we're unhappy, right? Because then all of a sudden we're, you can go down these rabbit holes of comparing yourself, and all the rabbit holes. You're probably in a rabbit hole right now going, how do I get out? So ask yourself, what's my purpose? And think about what brings you joy. What do you get lost in? And it might not be something that pays the bills. Hey, you might have to have a 9 to 5 job, or a job that works swing shifts and crazy hours like Stacy does. You might have to have that to provide yourself income to be able to do the thing that brings you joy. Like some people, it's being on the water. Actually, that's me too. But if you ever notice someone that's, windsurfing. I love to watch people windsurf because they just have this peace about them and joy because they're so focused on what they're doing and the enjoyment of it that it's physical. It's the mental release of letting go of everything except being in that moment, which is being present. So if you can be present in something and not have to sit there and go, stop thinking about this, that, and the other, be present. Because I have to do that a lot. Like when I start my morning walks, I have to go, wait, quit saying that's a tree. Quit thinking about the 10 things you have to do today. Just stop and listen and be. Just be in this moment. And I have to keep pushing those things out of my mind that my mind wants to bring up, that my ego is telling me I have to get done. Let's take a moment to recognize our sponsor. We are so excited to have a new sponsor, Melissa Lott with Integrative Wellness in Idaho, Pure Elegance Injector. Hey, if you're looking to improve the health and vitality of your skin, she offers all the things: Botox, lip flip, hair removal, cool peel, deep CO2 laser, lip hydration, full lip pucker, photofacial, hydrofacial, and microneedling. That's what I just did my first treatment of. And we'll actually be sharing this information on an episode. I do the whole treatment. So I'm going to have before pictures, during some clips of during the treatment, and then some after pictures showing the daily results. I am only on day 5, so I have makeup on, kind of hiding all the stuff, but it is still in progress of healing, but I can already notice a big difference. So if you're interested in creating better health and vitality in your face and skin, then you can reach out to integrativewellnessidaho.com at pure_elegance_injector or call Melissa 208-317-4884 for more information or to schedule your beauty treatment. Now back to the show. So when I want to go back to editing my book and understanding, once I started looking at every chapter of my life, I started realizing that my purpose never changed. Through every job I've had, it's been some sort of service. Waitressing, clearly service. Fast food, clearly service of others. And a loan officer, I felt my job was to help people to make better financial choices. I helped a lot of people consolidate bills. I educated them on the importance of, you need a credit card, but you need one credit card and you need to pay it off monthly, right? But you need the credit, so you do need a credit card. And for emergencies, and nowadays, you need your debit card and a credit card. But my point is that I still came from a place of wanting to help other people, right? In their situation to better their lives. The sales, when I worked sales for Idaho 8, yes, I got to be creative. I got to fill my soul with joy. But I also got to help businesses to reach more customers. I felt as if I really listened to the customers and really tried to help them to present the best version of their business to help them to be successful. So that's another key word that kept coming up throughout my life, was helping others to be successful. One of the things that I love about doing a play, directing a play, was that I got to help others become this character or learn the stage and become this different version of themselves, someone that was confident, someone that could get on stage and be on stage and be silly, be outside of their character of themselves, right? And I feel like that also was helping people, right? Being of service of people. And then the end is you're putting on this great show for the community, for them to have a moment to forget what's happening in the world, to forget what's happening in their lives if they're struggling, and to just be in that moment of humor. Because if y'all know me, if y'all have been to one of my shows that I've done, whether I've written it or directed it, there is always humor. I don't do drama. I do humor because I want things to be lighter. I want people to hold things lighter. I want to give them an opportunity to be in that space of feeling joy. And that's purpose. Letting go. Like going to a play could be your purpose. You could be an art lover. That can be your purpose. Like, there's all kinds of purposes in the world, right? We don't all have to be service-minded. Although, if you're looking to get out of a funk that you're in, the best thing you can do is help someone else. If you see someone as little as like seeing someone in the grocery store, and maybe they're a mom with a small child, and you see that they have a full cart of groceries. Maybe you help that mom unload their groceries into their car, not in a creepy way. Say, hey, I'd love to help you, and pitch in. Just start doing it so that they see you really do mean to help. But, we're all different and our purposes are all different. But I just wanted to share with you that at 60, I finally learned my purpose is to be of service and help others to be the best version of themselves, whatever aspect that is. If it's just being present for a concert on a Thursday night, if it's listening to a podcast and finding a tidbit of knowledge that maybe you didn't know, or having an epiphany about your life or your purpose, like whatever that looks like, I feel all along through every occupation I ever held, everything, being a mother, being a grandmother, these are all things that are of service and especially of helping people believe in themselves and believe that all things are possible. If you think about your kids, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you're not like this. Maybe you are. Like my parents were like very much about it's black and white, and if you go to New York to become an actress, you're going to starve to death getting there, and there's like a million other people that are just as talented as you are. And the lack of food was the thing that really stopped me in my tracks, and I didn't want a hard life. I didn't want to struggle that much, and I'm sure glad that wasn't the route that I took, because look where I am. Look what I've created in my life. 3 kids, 11 grandkids, a big community event for 12 years that we've done in the summer times, like all these things that have benefited and helped other people. And if I've helped you, drop a comment, and however you're hearing this or watching this, and let me know. You don't have to share how I helped you if you don't want to. You can just say me. So I'll know that in some small way I touched your life through theater, through music in the park, through being a loan officer, whatever it is, this podcast, like whatever, you feel free to share that, because I would love to feel that, to know that what I'm doing and what I'm sharing is of service. That when you listen, that you're picking something out of it. Or you're just being in a moment of joy. Being in a moment where you're not thinking about your to-do list or thinking about the crazy chaos that you're in the middle of, but you're enjoying the moment. So anyways, that's my story. And as I work on this book, I believe we're still sticking with the title, Why Not Me? It is about believing in yourself, but also believing it when someone else believes in you and says, why don't you do this? You don't sit and question and say, oh, but here's 10 reasons why I shouldn't do that. You just go, okay, all right, I'll try that. I will try that because you believe in me and you see something in me. So I'm going to believe in me. That's how we should be with our kids. Like, they might have crazy ideas. I'm not saying, I'm not a firm believer in, oh, let's believe you're a furry and you become that furry. I think you can say, what a great imagination you have. And you can be anything in life that you choose to be, and you can portray any character that you want to portray. But what's going to make you happiest is when you portray your inner self. And if you don't know who your inner self is, reflect back on when you were a child and think about, as a child, what gave you joy? What made you stop in time and feel like nothing was moving? Time wasn't moving. You were just being. I can tell you one thing that of my childhood was I would lay under the tree in the shade, but just enough outside of that I could see the clouds. And I don't know, watching the clouds, just staring at the clouds. No thoughts, no naming of shapes. I mean, there was times I did name shapes, elephants and planes and all kinds of things, but I spent more moments just staring at the clouds and being in awe of them and just being. And I think that for me, that's a moment of being closer to God. And you can say you believe in God, you believe in universal energy, whatever it is you believe in, Buddhism, Taoism, whatever. Being present in the moment and just being, you can feel that energy that you believe in. And for me, it is God. And He has given me a purpose in my heart that has been to help others to be successful, to encourage others to believe in themselves and to follow their dreams. And I hope that everyone that watches this podcast or listens to me and Stacy and all of our guests, that you believe in yourself and know that it's a roller coaster ride. That's why we named this show Beautiful Chaos, because life is a roller coaster ride. And sometimes you're climbing a mountain and you lose yourself, you lose your path. You forget what brings you joy because you're working so many hours and you've got 3 kids underfoot and you're barking orders at everybody. You feel like this constant drill sergeant that's trying to keep everybody on task so your house stands, so that your kids get their homework done, so that you keep them busy in the summer so that they're not destructive or fighting amongst each other, whatever it is. Like, there's all these different times in our lives when there's chaos, and I think that's us climbing that mountain. And like I said, sometimes we go off path because we forget, we lose what gives us joy. We forget to sit down and breathe. We forget to sit down and take time for ourselves and just be in a quiet moment. And we forget how important it is to play with our kids so that they see the fun side of us. How important it is for us to date our spouses because they need to see the fun side of us still, right? And we all have a little fun in us, whether you think you do or not. So anyways, I hope that this has helped you to think about purpose, to give you a different version of what joy is, because to me, joy is getting lost in a moment and forgetting time, spending that 8 hours painting and not realizing that it's been 8 hours. For me, it's editing a podcast and realizing it's been 4 hours and I forgot to eat a meal and I just lost track of time. So that's what joy is. It's not this false sense of, oh, I'm just going to be happy, 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 happy. Like, and joyful, joyful, joyful. It's just being and feeling peace and feeling calm. And that's joy. Or being so grateful for a moment that you weep. I've done that multiple times, you guys. Like, my husband will say something that's so wise, and I reflect and I think, oh, how lucky am I to be blessed with this man? And then I start thinking about my life, like how blessed my life is. Sorry, getting emotional. How blessed I am to have a his, hers, and an ours family. How blessed I am to have an expanded family that includes people that started off as friends, but I consider family. The life that I lead, where I can do community events and I don't have to worry about providing for myself financially because my husband's able to do that. And that's been a tough road because I'm used to being independent and paying for myself for a lot of years. But anyways, hopefully this has helped you to realize maybe you've lost your purpose. Maybe you need to reflect back and find your purpose, because I can almost guarantee you your life purpose is the same as when it was as a child, and the thoughts that you have and the way that you felt towards people and the kindness you felt and the love that you felt and where you felt the love and where you felt those lost moments of time. Those are the things that bring you purpose. And I look back on my 60 years and my purpose has never changed. My perception of my purpose changed. And the way that I was helping people might have changed. But it has always been helping people and lifting people. So what's your purpose? Ask yourself today. Where do you find your joy? Ask yourself. Speak it out loud. Okay. Please feel free to share with someone this episode if you feel it might help someone who might be feeling lost or struggling. There's a lot of times in my life where I struggled and I lost my purpose. I lost the ability to dream, like all the things. If you know somebody like that, share this episode, because we are a people that loves community. So let's dig in deep to our community here at Beautiful Chaos, and let's share love, purpose, and joy. Stay empowered.